Hello there, you amazing people. Welcome to Rise Up to Positivity. I am Heather, your positive mindset coach, here to help you quiet that negative self talk, build an unshakable positive mindset while creating a more confident and fulfilling life without all that stress and self doubt holding you back. Have you ever held back from posting, from promoting your business, from fully owning what you do? I want to tell you something. I do that. And the thing is, it's not about my content, it's about who might see it. Have you ever felt like that? Even just a little bit? Well, keep on watching because I want to break down exactly what's actually going on beneath it. Fear, it gets its bad reputation. We think of it as a big dramatic thing, but the fear that keeps most of us stuck, and me, when we're building something, it's not dramatic at all. It's subtle. It doesn't feel like fear at first. It feels like being careful, like being realistic, like just not being ready yet. It's the reason I almost posted something and didn't. The reason I rewrote a message 10 times. The reason I've said, not yet, when I really meant, I'm scared. That's the fear. And it has a way of keeping you and me exactly where we are. For me personally, fear showed up as a disguise, as marketing hesitation. Like I just wasn't sure how to talk about what I do, but underneath that there were these thoughts. What if they think I'm annoying? What if they think I'm trying too hard? What if they silently roll their eyes and don't say anything? Those fears are uncomfortable, but are manageable because they're strangers. The real fear is closer to home. The fear is what if the people, what if people I actually know don't support me? I have to sit with that for a second because I think this is one so common and so rarely talked about. When it comes to strangers, and I mean people who have no history with me, no prior version of me in their heads, it's easier. If they don't get it, they scroll past. No history, no content, no wait. But when it comes to people who really know you, that is a whole different feeling. I remember the first time I started openly talk about my coaching business. Not just mentioning in passing, but actually saying, this is what I do, this is what I help people with, and this is what I believe in. And I noticed something. I started making mentally, I started mentally scanning my friend group. Not all of them, but certain ones. People I've known for years. people I've grown up, people I've grown up with in a version of myself that had nothing to do with coaching or growth or any of this. And I could feel myself shrinking, editing, softening it because there's this silence, unspoken questions when you step into something new in front of people who have known you a long time. Is she for real? Or is this just a phase? And the terrifying part is you cannot control their answers or their thoughts. Here's something I've never really said out loud. Well, maybe my husband I have. Is when I'm hanging out with my family and friends, actually in the same room, we're talking, we're having conversation. I don't really talk about my business much. And it's not because I'm not passionate about it, because I am, but it's because of the energy I get when I do. You know that feeling when someone asks you a question, but you can tell they're really not asking. They're just being polite. Like they ask because it's the right thing to do, not because they actually really want to know the answer. That is what it feels like. That's what I feel. And so I've learned to keep it surface level. Give short answers, change the subject, because talking about something I care about deeply to someone who's half listening, that it's its own kind of loneliness. And the hard part is these are people I love, people who matter to me. So when I pick up that energy, it doesn't just sting a little bit, it makes me question everything. Like, if the people closest to me can't get excited about this, like I am, should I be doing this? That's the question. That question usually stopped me completely. And then I realized it wasn't the energy in the room. It wasn't, it was, it was what wasn't happening outside either. I'm gonna get really honest with you because there's another layer to this, and I don't hear many people talking about this. It's not just the fear of judgment from the people that are close to me, it's the frustration of the silence. Because here's what I've noticed with certain people in my life, friends, family, people who've people who have looked me in the eye and said, I support you. I'm so proud of you. And then absolutely nothing. They don't comment on my social media. They don't like it. They don't share it. They don't talk to other people about me. And that's what makes this so confusing. It does not take much at all. I'm not asking anyone to write me this long testimonial or show up somewhere. A like takes 2 seconds. A share, 5 seconds. Telling a friend, hey, I know somebody who does exactly that. A 30-second conversation. Nothing. But they say they support me. These are not big asks by all means, and yet nothing. And sometimes that's very hard to deal with when when you don't have that support, easy support. Then I have to ask myself, why does this hurt so much? I think it hurts because the support we crave from people who know us isn't really about the algorithm. It's not about numbers. It's about feeling like people who love you actually believe in what I'm doing. Like they see me. Not that old version of me, but this version of me. The one who is building something, who's trying, and who's showing up even when it's scary and does get scary. When they stay quiet, it can feel like they don't believe in me. And that is a hard thing to carry. So if you're feeling that too, that specific sting of people saying they support you and their actions not matching their words, you're really not alone. And you're not being dramatic. It's real. And it's okay to name it. So here's what I eventually had to come to terms with. When you grow, when you change, when you step into something new, not everybody's going to be comfortable with it. And that's not always about you. Sometimes it's about them. Sometimes growth in someone else is threatening, even unconsciously. It holds up a mirror, asking questions they are not ready to answer about their own lives. But here's the thing I had to really internalize: the people who are meant to be in your life as you grow, they will grow with you, or they'll cheer you on, even if they're on a different path. The discomfort you feel from others isn't always a sign that you're wrong. Sometimes it's a sign that you are right and you're moving and growing. The deeper question I had to ask was, am I going to let the discomfort of other people from my past define who I've become in the future? Because every time I shrank myself, every time I softened my message or didn't post or didn't reach out to someone I could have helped, I wasn't protecting myself. I was abandoning myself. Abandoning. And more than that, I was abandoning the people I was meant to help. The person who needed to hear what I had to say, they were waiting. And I was busy worried about someone from my past would think. There's something very vulnerable about saying this out loud. This is who I am. This is what I do. And this is what I stand for. But here is what I have learned: that vulnerability is not a weakness. It's actually the whole point. The people I'm trying to reach, the one who needs my coaching, my messaging, my perspective, they're not looking for someone who has it all figured out and never wobbles. They are looking for someone who wobbles and shows up anyway. So if you're sitting on something, a message, an offer, a piece of content, a version of yourself you've been waiting to introduce to the world, I want to ask you, who are you protecting right now? Because it might feel like you're protecting yourself, but more often than not, you're protecting a version of yourself that you already outgrown. I'm going to close with something that feels important to say. Making this video was uncomfortable for me. Sitting here and saying out loud, my friends don't always show up the way I wish they would. That's vulnerability. That's the kind of thing that you say in a journal, not on the internet. But this is exactly what I coach people through. Show up, showing up anyways. Saying the real thing, not that safe thing. Getting out of your comfort zone when it's not convenient, but when it matters. So this video is me practicing what I preach. It's me doing the thing I keep putting off because I felt too exposed. And if it really helps even one person, then it was worth the discomfort. If this resonated with you, drop a comment below, especially if you felt that specific sting of people saying they support you, but go quiet when it counts. I love to hear from you. And hey, if you know someone who needs this today, share it with them. That's all, that's literally all it takes. And don't forget to hit that like button either. I'll see you in the next one.